The food pyramid has been the harshest social experiment that we have.
This is going to kill a lot of people.
Gambled $7 million in one day and lost.
Hey, Segovia, back with another one. Hope everyone out there is having a good day. Y'all coming off a well-needed day off. I feel like I got a good reset, y'all. We got a good one coming up today. I'm going to give my opinion on this ice shooting coincidence, right? We got a new food pyramid to start the year. Let's get into it, y'all. We got a good one. Make sure you guys watch from start to finish. That really helps the channel grow. But with that being said, let's do what we came here for. Let's get into this hour banger. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
I was stationed in Iraq. I used to have to go into a lot of different rooms that had a lot of computers and screens to do a lot of different things for whatever reason that we were in there. One time, I went into a room that had, like, this guy was sitting there with 3 computer screens, and on one of his computer screens, there was a map. And the map was not a map of the earth. It looked like a map of the earth, but it caught my attention because when I looked at it, it just like looked the wrong shape, right? So I started looking at it and I was like, the earth was like in the middle and there was shit outside of it. Now this was a room that map would literally not have been in. Like there was no way that this map, I've told the story on my TikTok before, there's no way that this map was in this room. Like it wasn't real. There was these computers were not allowed to have people's cute little backgrounds and shit on them. And this wasn't a cute little background. It was a map that was being monitored. Anyway, he was doing something. I was waiting for him to do something. And he notices me just completely fucking lost in this map because my blabbers were gasted. I was realizing that this was a map. And in the middle, I saw all of the countries of the world that we know. And there was shit on the outside. So I'm looking, right? I'm like, what the fuck is this? Because it said shit that why does that say Asgard, right? Anyway, so I'm looking at it and I'm like, what the, right? And he looks at me and just very matter of fact, it was like, no one's going to believe you. And I just like, I was like, damn it, I know. Fuck. Anyway, I think about that a lot.
California's next. Yeah, I think there's like you could spend like a whole year inside California exposing fraud. $24 billion went missing to homeless. That train that they try to build, that they've been trying to build forever. I mean, the NGOs there, like it's crazy.
That is one of the biggest questions. And I always wonder this. You have
daycares paying kids upwards of $1,500 to go and put their kids in the daycare.
So are they all Somalian owned?
Yeah, so 89% of the fraud.
Or is there like one white daycare that's like taking advantage of the fraud? Or is it all Somalians?
Yeah, so there was like one of the ringleaders of it. She was a white lady. She got arrested. However, 89% of the fraud being committed in Minnesota is by Somalians.
Dang. How did the Somalians?
Yeah, and so
I want to see this guy. Don't just go. I mean, yes, California's bad. We know they're doing some corruption over there, but the whole country is red, blue, right? He's on Republican type, that had heavy Republicans on their podcast, right? Let's go to Texas. I know they're doing some fraud here. We're paying a lot for property taxes, y'all. Florida, everywhere. It's everywhere. Right? It's not just Democrats. They're not, the Democrats are this and the Republicans are holy. No, they're all doing this, y'all. So if he's going to really do it, go do it. You know what I mean? Do them all. Expose them all. Let's bring this whole thing down and start fresh. You won't do that.
a hotel in Clearwater, put up a bunch of no trespassing signs and fill their hotel rooms with bunk beds. I got this video. I tell you, I sent it to 3 different people. I got 3 totally different perspectives. And I went down some rabbit holes too. And there's some stuff out there about filling up hotel rooms with bunk beds. Now some of it's like, oh, well, that makes sense. I could see that. But then there's some other stuff where it's like, whoa. So I'll let y'all do your own thing with your own rabbit holes. But I mean, some of the stuff I was reading, I mean, it makes you just want to go buy water and plant a garden. I mean, damn. Yeah. So, but this video is legit. It's happening now. The people who sent it to me said there's just 2 cars sitting in the parking lot and there's 3 bunk beds in every room. And so y'all post your perspectives on it, but man, there's some wild stuff out there, but this is happening right now.
Does anybody see? It's kind of suspicious that, like, this is all that's on the news now, right? Protests, right after this scandal of billions of dollars being stolen, fraud, and then this happens, like to take the attention off, like especially the attention off the people from Minnesota, right? Really took the attention off that from Minnesota. Now they're all focused on this. I guarantee all on the news in Minnesota, this is all they're talking about. They ain't talking about no fraud. They're not talking about Tim Watts. They're not talking about none of that. They're going to talk about this for a while. And then by the time they're done talking about it, no one's going to remember that fraud. They're not going to care about it. And they get away with it, right? That's the games they play, y'all. Whether that lady that they shot was, a sacrificial lamb or she's still alive, I don't know, y'all. But to me, that's a little bit too much of a coincidence. And now the news is talking about this nonstop. It's kind of suspicious, in my opinion. What do you guys think? You on the same boat as me?
Else find this situation in Minnesota to be bizarre besides me?
I know I do.
I don't know.
My spidey senses are tingling.
Doesn't sit right with me when it comes to this situation in Minnesota with the ICE agent and what happened to the woman. Something really seems off about all of this. It really does. And I know I can't be the only one out there to wonder what is really going on. Especially when you do a little digging, you will find certain numbers like always. So something really seems bizarre about all of this. And again, I know I can't be the only one out there that finds this whole thing to be a little off, a little strange, a little weird. What do you think about this?
How many fucking chickens have to die every day? When you get wings and chicken legs for party, every 2 of those is one chicken.
And you might leave 4 or 5 of them because you're full.
Super Bowl Sunday? You think you're the only person with a stack of chicken?
1.5 billion wings
on Sunday?
On Super Bowl Sunday.
I'm going to say
it's one day.
So it's 1.5. So it's 750 million chickens on Sunday. So double the population of the whole country
of chickens.
And chickens die in a day.
Where do you put them?
Where are they getting all the beef from? McDonald's is over the entire map of the United States. We consume 158,000 cows per day. 78 million pounds of beef per day. How can we do that? We got 158,000 cows that's slaughtered every single day. We can sustain that. It's not adding up to me. It's not adding up at all. It's not adding up.
Tell me I'm wrong. When we wanted to see bones, we invented X-ray. When we wanted to see babies, we invented ultrasound. When we wanted to see brains, we invented MRI. So why, pray tell, for a prostate exam and pap smears, you have to use your hands? Someone wanted that. Somebody wanted that. Tell me I'm wrong.
Television shows that were trying to tell us something.
Hear us, O horned one. Wrap your dark wings around this young soul and grant him all the rewards he desires.
Okay, hi, Mr. Horned One. Here's the deal. I'll trade you my soul for, what do I get, like 3 wishes?
This episode in season 3 of 2.5 Men just happens to be titled Little Horned Man, by the way. First and foremost, we see Jake, one of the main characters of the show, sitting with one of Charlie Sheen's girlfriends. She quite literally has him at an altar, hello, and is making him pledge his allegiance to the man downstairs. Later in this same scene, we see more symbolism.
It's more of a legal issue. It turns out Malibu is not zoned for satanic rituals. Or any of the black arts, really, right, Alan?
That's true. You're fine in Hollywood.
Clearly here there, 2 pretty big actors from Hollywood making light and making jest of the dark arts and saying that kind of stuff is welcomed in Hollywood, just not in their home. Must just be another coincidence that Alan, this character here, has a black eye and is also showing one eye symbolism. Also must be a giant coincidence that the actor Angus Jones, who played Jake, completely abandoned Hollywood shortly after this role. Comment below, let me know, do you think I'm on to something or am I tripping? Wake up.
Do you know what many people are thinking we're going to see tomorrow on Friday with the financial markets? Do you know what is being ruled on tomorrow? Tomorrow, the Supreme Court is going to find out or come to a conclusion on whether Trump's tariffs were legal or not. If they were illegal, then something about $600 billion will have to be refunded. That would cause a black swan event. Furthermore, now, according to the sentiments on Polymarket, a lot of people think that it's going to rule against, like basically that they're going to say the tariffs were indeed illegal, which is going to cause an absolute meltdown. So they're expecting that the U.S. will have to refund all that money. Now, accordingly, Trump says he has a backup plan if the Supreme Court blocks the tariffs, but that's uncertain. No one knows what that looks like. Now, the shocking thing was this morning, or was that yesterday, Trump announced that they are banning BlackRock from buying up single-family homes, which, if you didn't know, BlackRock bought up like millions and millions of homes above market value to just close the deal, boom, and then they are then renting out all those homes. So that's shocking. Obviously, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. But the crazy part is, if now BlackRock can't do that, I mean, for that whole time, that was like artificially inflating the housing market because BlackRock was just buying everything. So here's what's crazy, though. If all of a sudden BlackRock can't do that anymore, what effect is that going to have on the housing market? Now, black swan events, are we going to see one tomorrow? We'll have to keep our head on a swivel. I suggest reducing your risk, man. Take something off the frickin' table if you're in a position. And also, it's in God's hands, man, because we know that at the end of this life, you can't take it with you. And I don't even know what I'm saying, man. All I know is it's a shitstorm. Shit's going on. We got war kicking off. We got Venezuela action. We got Iran, and we have the Russians evacuating the Middle East. I don't know what we're about to see, but the stage seems to be set, and many people think it's part of a plan, and many people think that the plan is to change the economy to make it so bad that people beg for a new system, and the new system be digital and be universal basic income. And when it's universal basic income, they have control over you because you're dependent on them, and there's no cash, which would suck. So I love you all. Let's keep our head on a swivel, maintain positive thoughts and alignment. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below and follow for more.
So remember 3i Atlas, which turned out to be a nothing burger at the end of the year? Well, guess what? They're actually hiding something from us. This is John Greenwald Jr., a UFO researcher who got in contact with the CIA to have them disclose information about 3i Atlas. Now, due to the Freedom of Information Act, the government's supposed to disclose to the public about what they're doing, their whereabouts on certain subjects, etc. And this is their response to John. And I quote, "We completed a thorough review of your request and determined that in accordance with Section 3.6a of Executive Order 13526, the CIA can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records responsive to your requests." Now, it goes on to say that this information is now classified due to the CIA Act of 1947 and the National Security Act of 1949. So therefore, your request is denied. Okay, so at this point, we should all be very, very suspicious, because not knowing what this thing is one thing, but now there may be infighting within the community about disclosure.
There are people that are controlling this information, and there does seem to be, even outside of the purview of, I think, sometimes our own secretaries who have the best intentions on declassifying this stuff, there is this internal intelligence battle on this.
Internal intelligence battle sounds very promising, doesn't it? And of course, it's always in the movies, because there's a movie coming out this summer called Disclosure Day. So it really makes you wonder, are we going to get our own Disclosure Day, or maybe not because they're hiding it? Who knows? Make sure you guys hit up my YouTube, The Maverick Approach, but let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
All right, you ready for this? Under Mandami,
this New York City has just passed the COPA law, which means if you own a home in New York City and you want to sell that home, you can't sell that home unless unless non-profit organizations put in a bid for that home. It must be listed 30 or 60 days. You got to fact check me on that. I'm not sure. But there is a certain amount of time that home has to be listed. Nonprofits have to have no interest before you can privately sell that home. You know what? I'm just going to let you take that information and pass your opinion on it.
Here's a better picture of the bull caught in the mountain. His face is about 900 feet tall. Very detailed. Come take a tour with me. I'll let you go see him.
Yeah, I see it. His nose is on the bottom left.
He has a friend. I haven't identified him yet, but check this guy out. Has the face of a rabbit or some kind of animal. You can see it. He's huge. He's just as big as the bull. So this is him. There's the bull.
The caskets. Listen, nobody get buried in the casket. Let me tell you why, right? You get buried in the casket, they trying to stop everything that's supposed to happen. Let me tell you this, right? We gotta know that the animal is the same as us. So when a bull or an animal die in the wild, do they bury it? No. Why don't they bury it? Because the stuff that come off his body, it goes back into the soil and it helps the earth, which help you live. Right? So when they put the body in the coffin, they kind of like trying to stop that process. A lot of people don't know.
See, that's why the Native Americans, when the ladies was in tune with the moon cycle, they would use the excrement that came from the menstrual, put it in a package and bury it where they would plant plants and produce at.
Right.
So
right, right. But they created coffins. So let me tell you why. So you can get stuck in reality and hold on to your loved ones and you won't let them fly. Right? They don't want you to let them fly. Because this is what I think. Every time a cross thought your mind of your past person, you keep them stuck in this reality. Just from your thoughts. Right? That's what I'm saying. A lot of people don't understand this. A lot of people don't understand what this reality is, right? And life is moment to moment, but I gotta get fried.
Now see,
the worst thing I've ever seen, there's a documentary on Haitian prisons.
The first thing that hits you is the smell. Sweat, feces, urine.
Bro, it's like fucking 90 people in a cell that's designed to fit like 10 people.
They're locked up in these cells for 23 hours a day. We count 60 prisoners coming out, but inside, I count only 18 beds.
And also there's no due process because they can't process everybody. So there's guys in there that are like, yo, I didn't do anything.
Some of the prisoners tell me they've been here for 10 years without ever facing a trial.
And then there's an earthquake and everyone gets out. And then they go, I think that guy was in prison. Pick him up.
He says the police grabbed him as he was walking through a market, but he has no idea what the charge is.
Now you're in the worst prison on earth.
We've got the food pyramid, which was a complete lie.
I think Jordan Peterson said it best, and it might be one of the biggest crimes against humanity.
How do you fatten up an animal? You stuff them full of grains. And then acidosis. Grains in multiple stomach animals creates acidosis in their blood. If you eat that, that's acidosis in your blood. That's one of the three main factors of cancer. It's not that red meat's bad for you. It's sick animals. That's bad for you. And it's layered too, because people think they're eating food. But if there's seed oils, it's cooked in seed oils. They're fed corn. They're fed soy. Like, what does that do to your tissues? Well, my mentor said results never lie. So let's look at our results. 74% of the American people are obese or overweight. We have type 1, 2, and 3 diabetes now with dementia. And it's not called dementia anymore, right? It's called Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. And then what are these grains? They're ultimately like sugar, especially corn. And then you got corn syrup and you have all these fake sugars. So we've got fake food.
Another thing that Trump can do and that Bobby Kennedy will do, we need to blow up the food pyramid. The food pyramid is pure propaganda. So we were raised believing that you should have foundational bread, wheat, rice, potatoes. Ain't wrong. So out of proteins, fats, and carbohydrates, what if I told you you only need proteins and fats to survive? If you have no carbohydrates for the rest of your life, you're perfectly fine. If you have no proteins, you die. If you have no fats, you die. Now, we think fats is a bad thing, but there are many different types of fats. Avocado oil, olive oil, almonds, those types of fats are very, very good for you. What we've been told, though, is that heavy carbohydrate diet, which then makes you incredibly insulin resistant, it increases and spikes the type 2 diabetics. And we're wondering why our kids are so obese or overweight, because we have literally nuclear bombed their metabolic system from a young age, where we are sending them these sugar high type concentrated foods, and they're not able to process or digest them correctly. So we need to blow up the food pyramid. You can have maybe 10% of your diet should be carbohydrates, 30% of your diet should be proteins, and then 60% of your diet should be healthy fats.
The food pyramid has been the harshest social experiment that we have. When the food pyramid came into play, obesity skyrocketed. And we haven't even updated these nutritional guidelines since the 60s.
Yeah, there's no one fit all diet, right?
I agree. And I have to say that there are strong scientific principles that we should follow. For example, dietary protein as a primary component of a nutritional plan is key. And the evidence supports that. If protein intake is insufficient, your body will change and it can become sarcopenic. We've all seen aging parents, aging grandparents. Those changes are preventable. The ideal amount of protein is double the RDA.
So around 0.7?
Exactly, 0.7 to 1 gram per pound, ideal body weight.
Wow. That's such a simple fix to just increase your protein every few years, but people don't even know that.
Right.
See, I don't know what's going to come from this. I don't know, like, I know the regular person, nobody follows the food pyramid, right? Nobody follows it. But like I'm saying, like dietitians, when you go to the hospital and they feed you as a patient, like they have to follow the food pyramid, right? Because when, we had the baby, like the food they brought, I was like, this is terrible. Like, it's just disgusting food they're feeding you in this hospital. So does that mean now like hospitals and, dietitians and all them have to follow this now by guidelines, by law? Because the average American people, nobody's, I didn't, when I was growing up, like, okay, we're going to follow the food pyramid and we're going to eat just like it says. Like nobody does that. But we got a vegan, coming up with the new food pyramid and what she thinks about it.
This is going to kill a lot of people. In case you missed it, RFK just dropped the new food pyramid and food guidelines. Please do not follow this. Please. While I agree with Maha and this whole movement that's happening right now, that you do need to eat more whole foods and limit processed foods and sugar intake, I don't agree that you should be consuming any kind of meat, dairy, eggs, none of it. Red meat is a group 2 carcinogen, meaning it causes cancer. And this man put it at the top of the pyramid, telling people they should consume red meat to be healthy. The government should be looking out for its people. Instead, it's telling its people to eat stuff that is going to cause disease. Heart disease, cancers, diabetes, etc. Vegetables, fruits, whole grains, a little bit of oil, plant-based proteins. That's what you should be consuming. And no surprise, when you do a little digging, this is tied to the meat and dairy industry. Just another piece of propaganda, marketing material from the big dairy and big meat industry in the US. People involved in making this new food pyramid work for those industries.
Like, it's so crazy, y'all. People that go so far, like people on the carnivore thing too. That's what I'm doing. Day 7, we got the 3rd channel. I'm going to start doing an update every week. But, people, I will never get so far over here. Like even carnivore people that make content like, this is the way, that way is stupid. Like, who cares? Eat what you want to eat. You know what I mean? Like for her, eat what you want to eat. She's so on the vegan side that if you eat this, you're bad. Or if you eat, fruit, you're bad. If you're a carnivore person, or not fruit, some people, whatever. But like people get so far on the fence, y'all. Like, I don't give a damn what you eat. You know what I mean? It ain't got nothing to do with me. This is what I'm eating. I feel good. This shirt right here is finally, I've worn it before, but it's like super tight. But, the shirt's starting to feel good. Today's day 7. I've lost 6 pounds. You know what I mean? So we're going to go over all that. I'll put the 3rd link down below for you guys to check out over there.
Food groups, now you got a new food pyramid, okay? Announced this week. You got
I think this
like
is great.
Steak and turkey and broccoli being pushed up the line. Why is that? Here are the recommendations out from the U.S. government. Protein and dairy and healthy fats, their target serving per day now. You do the math now based on how much you weigh. 1.2 to 1.6 grams per pound of body weight per day, all right? Again, you do the math. Avoid meats and dairy with added sugar. When it comes to vegetables and fruits, target servings, 3 servings a day of veggies. Fruits, 2 servings per day. So you got 3 on the veggies, 2 on the fruits. Fiber-rich whole grains, target serving 2 to 4 servings per day. Avoid the refined carbohydrates like white bread, which might be difficult for a lot of us.
Because you're addicted.
All of this is happening because of the facts for the health of America now. Obesity facts in America, half of Americans have pre-diabetes or diabetes. 3/4 of adults have at least one chronic condition, and 90% of healthcare spending treats chronic disease, much of it diet and lifestyle related. All that costs
90% of it,
and that's the point
is
of
diet.
MAHA, to make you and America more healthy. So get after it. We'll see how it goes.
The new food pyramid has arrived, and we have to talk about how this compares to the 1974 food pyramid that we all grew up with. It's essentially inverted compared to what we see from the 1970s. In the old school food pyramid, remember, the grains were the largest portion size, and it was this way because big business lobbied for this food pyramid in order to sell what they wanted, not what was actually healthy for people. So this is how you had the government recommending Honey Nut Cheerios and these ultra-processed whole grain.
Look at that, y'all. Look how crazy that is. Nothing but carbs, sugar on the first 2 levels. And then they put the meat with the sweets in junk food. Like, that's how much we were lied to. And now we're dealing with that. What'd she say in the 60s? So what? 60 years later, it barely changed. And we got a country full of fat people. I'm one of them. A country full of inflamed people. A country full of sick people. And what's sad is that's what they wanted back in the 60s. That's what they wanted. You know what I mean? They wanted that. They didn't make a mistake like, oh, we got it wrong. My bad. No, they wanted us to be like this 60 years later. And it's barely going to change. So I wonder what it's going to look like 60 years from now. What are the people? Are we even going to be around? That's another, whole other episode. But 60 years from now, what is it going to be like? Because it's just flipped upside down. And that's crazy. They put meat with junk food, y'all.
Breads because big food lobbied for it to be this way so they can make as much money as possible.
Yeah.
And we had this sort of weird, confusing food pyramid that came from Michelle Obama that kind of made no sense. But now meat and animal protein is king. Eggs are off of the naughty list. Grains are the smallest portion recommended. It's so nice to see full fat items recommended again so we can finally move away from this low fat, fat-free diet culture that is so toxic. I never thought we'd get here, but here we are, and it's such a pleasant surprise.
So you just can't mix the ribeye, which is what most people do, which is delicious, but like the ribeye with mashed potatoes or a loaded baked potato and some fries on the side, right? You can't do that. That's where the problems are going to come with this. People are already doing it, but you just got to eat the ribeye, maybe some broccoli or something, but you can't eat the ribeye with the loaded baked potato. That's where you're going to run into some problems, y'all. That's where I ran into a lot of problems.
It's so foreign to me because in California it is banned. I feel like I want to take a couple of them just because.
They're not banned in California. I was just out there. You just got to pay for
in
them.
Arizona, I would see this. Bags for days.
You just gotta pay.
I'm amazed.
I gambled $7 million in one day and lost.
7 million, y'all.
What was you playing? Blackjack. How long did it take you to lose 7 million? 30 minutes.
7 million in 30 minutes.
I'm saying.
How did I feel?
Like in the moment.
Joe, you really want to know how I felt? Yo, y'all want to know? They know. It was 8 million. Yes, it was on stream.
You turned the stream off or something, right? Oh, it was on stream?
Yes. Oh, yeah. When I turned my stream off, bro.
Let me ask you this. A real question, though.
Yeah.
Was that your money or they?
Mine. I swear on my life it was my money. I swear on everything I love. I loaded up my money. $8 million. Lose like that.
Because I lose 20,000 I go to sleep. Like,
I gamble.
And what's crazy is Vegas is in a little bit of trouble and no one wants to talk about it. This next generation doesn't gamble.
Ooh.
Like the gambling generation is
almost over.
It's almost over.
It is.
This generation doesn't gamble. We don't know how to play craps. They don't know how to do anything. A couple people play blackjack, poker, but that doesn't make the casino real money playing poker, right?
Yeah.
So we got a generation that don't do slots, none of that. So that's why you see a lot of casinos Like Durango Station, they got more restaurants than there is gambling in there.
That is true.
That's so true.
Durango Station kills it on food, right? That's their whole. That's their.
Well, not
shtick.
only that,
I love their food there.
they're getting away even from the point system.
Yeah.
They're not point matching at a lot of casinos anymore. It's really bad.
Or the incentives, you
No-
know, like when you
nothing.
sign up.
Nothing.
No, they started, man, all the good stuff about Vegas. Being able to sit at a machine at a bar and get comp drinks if I'm
Yeah.
playing. They took away all the good shit, man.
They don't do that no
You can
more?
still do that when you play at the slots. You still get comps.
Behind the counter, they have a tracker of how much money you're playing.
Oh yeah, you have to spend a certain amount.
So you have to hit a certain amount before
Well,
before they give you a comp drink.
And where's that waitress?
don't see
You're
her.
lucky you see her in
Slow
an
as
hour
shit.
if you're at the sitting down playing.
Lucky. All right, I'll give away a Vegas secret here. All right, I'll give a
Let's
Vegas
go,
secret
bring it.
here. There's one last casino that you can still do the old Vegas experience. It's the South Point. The South Point Casino at the Sportsbook Bar has 25-cent blackjack.
Listen,
See, I used to, I haven't been to Vegas in a long time, y'all, but we used to go, we needed some, some drinks whenever we were running low on money. We'd go play video poker at the bar, and that bartender's right there. He's just getting dollar, you know what I mean? But they're getting rid of that, yo. If they get rid of that, Vegas is done for sure because the drinks already are so expensive. But people aren't gambling in person no more. They're gambling online. They don't need to go to Vegas no more. They can sports bet at their home. They can gamble on their home. And then they got all these content creators getting paid millions of dollars a week, y'all, to gamble on their website so that the regular person sees it and destroys our life. That's what we're doing on our second channel today.
I'll let y'all know that sports is done. We're done with sports, okay? You cannot even watch it anymore because everything is rigged. Ever since FanDuel, DraftKings, all of those, Caesar, all of those online gambling sites, ever since they became a big thing, you can forget about regular sports. Every football player is saying this has been the most weirdest season ever. Listen, I ain't never seen that many crazy calls. I mean, I think everybody involved.
So Trump accidentally ended up trapping all of the billionaires in the world on the island of St. Bart's until further notice when he works things out with Venezuela. Because St. Bart's is in the middle between Venezuela and the United States, and they are not allowed to leave by boat or by plane. So this might actually be the first time that billionaires got to experience what they voted for, even if it's just being mildly inconvenienced in the middle of the ocean.
You will never use Bounty paper towels ever again after you learn this. Bounty paper towels contain what is arguably one of the most dangerous chemicals that exist on the planet. Now, they actually contain numerous dangerous chemicals, but the worst one is PFAS. What is PFAS? It's called a forever chemical. It means it never leaves your body. It accumulates in the body, and it's linked to some pretty dangerous things. If you want to know what my favorite alternatives are, read the caption below, and then make sure you go up to the link in my bio after, because I have some amazing free resources up there that'll literally change your life.
I'll say it once and I'll say it again. It's always in the movies. Now, there's been a ton of talk lately from the White House about Trump purchasing Greenland and making it the 51st state of America. Now, reason being, he said it's for national security because of growing tensions from foreign entities. But let's not forget that Greenland has 25 of the 34 minerals that are deemed critical raw materials, which include copper, diamond, gold, graphite, iron ore, nickel, just to name a few. But here's where it gets weird. Can anybody tell me why there is a movie coming out on January 9th called Greenland? And if you guys notice on the movie posters, it has these 4 cities: Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York, and Chicago. Now, what is this movie about? So this was a sequel to part 1 that came out in 2020, and it reads, in the aftermath of a comet that decimates most of the planet, the Garrity family must leave the safety of their Greenland bunker to traverse a shattered world in search of a new home. So we're talking about bunkers and national security. This is all starting to make sense. But it gets even weirder, you guys. So it's not just the movies, it's the video games as well. So this game called Call of Duty Ghosts comes out in 2013, right? Now, what is this game about? So this game takes place in 2026, where a special unit called Ghosts goes to Caracas, Venezuela to capture a dictator. Now, this game came out in November of 2013, which is the same year that Maduro took power. Now, if that's not weird enough for you, right before Maduro gets caught on January 3rd, the co-founder of Call of Duty dies in a car crash December 21st. But wait, hold up. So you mean to tell me the co-founder of Call of Duty dies, then 13 days later, Maduro gets caught, in which the game is about him getting caught, and the game comes out on a 13th year, he takes power on a 13th year, and the founder becomes literally a ghost. What? Simulation complete. I have no idea what to make of all this, but make sure you guys hit up my YouTube, The Maverick Approach, and let me know what you guys think about all this down below.
I'm gonna show y'all
Please do.
what guys and girls get when y'all don't empty y'all bladder, you don't drink water, this.
Are they kidney stones?
These are stones. This is from an 82-year-old man. He was pushing this stuff out of his dick at one point in time. He couldn't do it all. This is the most I've ever seen. He couldn't do it all. So they surgically went in and took this out. Like,
I drink a lot of water though. A lot.
Seriously,
that's all I drink.
Drink water. Empty your bladder.
At least a gallon a day.
See, plastic cup. That is what's actually in your Starbucks paper cup. It's a plastic cup. And
let's see if this is true. Could my coffee in this paper cup give me dementia? And for that matter, you too. Let's test it out. I'm going to put this in hot water and let it soak for a bit. Here is the moment of truth. I am going to try to peel off this paper. So if it's a paper cup, I should have nothing underneath it. But oh my God, there is really a plastic cup. See the water in there? I have actually
We're getting screwed, y'all. We're getting screwed.
This is true. As you saw, I peeled off the paper and got a plastic
You're
cup
getting
that's
screwed.
inside
We
of
are.
my coffee cup.
Sad.
The
It's
reason why
crazy.
this is not okay is that in 2025, I told you that people with dementia had 10 times more plastic in their brain than those who didn't. You know, as a doctor, I am freaked out because I never knew that millions of people, whether they're drinking coffee or tea in these kinds of paper cups that we think is environmentally friendly, is literally potentially giving me plastic inside my body, which makes me sick and can give me a heart attack or give me a stroke or maybe cause dementia. That is not okay. And so from here on in, I do suggest that not only do you not drink out of a plastic bottle, but do as little as you can to drink out of a supposedly paper cup.
We're getting screwed, y'all.
I ain't gonna hold y'all. We gonna start calling this place the Stranger Things. Have y'all seen the AI peeling face videos that's been surfacing all over the internet? Two things are happening. One, it's very real, so take it serious. Two, artificial intelligence is pumping out and creating fake videos to discredit the real ones. And I need you to understand something. The beings that you are seeing on the internet are the offsprings of the Nephilims, of the fallen ones. The only way you can get that is these entities had to go into our women. The video that I thought was super strange was the Jake Paul video. Have y'all seen that one yet? Cause boy, let me show you. Real quick, I just thought about something. As of the days of Noah, so will it be also. Look at this. I truly hope men's heart don't fail them for the things that they may see.
Did anyone see this headline? I want to know what Russia knows. Take a look at this. Russia is urgently evacuating diplomatic personnel and their families from Israel, having organized 3 flights in the past 24 hours. The evacuation is taking place at an accelerated pace, indicating the presence of important information. The Russian army is urgently evacuating employees of the Russian embassy in Israel, along with their families in Israel, and returning them to Russia. And this is reported by the Daily Iran News. Also, not sure if you saw this footage, it's actually pretty insane. The United States seized a Russian-flagged oil tanker carrying Venezuelan oil.
It's not about oil.
We
It's about
stopped them
drugs.
in
It's
international
about
waters
drugs.
and temporarily took 30 of their troops. Russia condemned this, obviously, and said, hey, give us our troops back. We said, this is legal, took the ship back to United States and placed it into U.S. custody as part of sanctions enforcement. So there's a lot of foreign tension going on right now that no one's really talking about, and it's getting kind of weird.
I'm reading all this stuff about what the phones do to you.
Yeah.
Some guy gave up his phone for 10 years. So he's 2015, gave it up, and they studied his brain then, and they study his brain now. Woo-wee! It is a real mind what the phone does.
Give me some typical.
Well, first off, when you're a social media queef all day long, every day, and when you give it up, your threaten meter gets regulated.
Right.
So we think everything's a threat, everything's an attack. You fly off the handle, fight or flight. Your amygdala is the stress part of your brain.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically like if you put your car in park and just hold the gas down. It's just going rah! It's always running, which is horrible for you.
Sure.
And then all that goes way down to normal when you get off the phone.
Right. Well, it's horrible for your attention span, even just checking your phone.
I know.
Just looking there. You.
And your anxiety goes down, your depression goes down, loneliness goes down, all this goes down. And you're like, that's just getting back to normal.
Wow. Do y'all remember 1 month ago when this video popped up with the reptile man from Google Earth? Well, I can prove to you 100% fact that it is real. First, we'll speed through that video again, and then I'll show you.
Damn, I never seen this.
Well, I went to find it myself, and it won't even let you click where was visible before. Watch, I'm trying to click on that second top blue dot, even under that. There are tons of reasons they don't want us to go to Antarctica, and this is one of them.
But since we mentioned Netflix, is there something nefarious going on with them trying to buy Warner Media?
Somewhat, yes. Because if you understand what IP is, intellectual property, and how important that is, Batman, Superman, Bugs Bunny, you got The Sopranos and Harry Potter, they have so much. So Netflix has an AI department. So they actually have an AI department that use language translation in real time, a bunch of other stuff that they're doing with AI. So what do you think that they can do with all that IP with AI? They can recreate a whole entire universe in a split second, create a whole Batman universe, whole Superman universe, no actors, because AI is so good now to where you can recreate anything at any time, fraction of the cost. So just think about that. Think about how they can train their AI on that intellectual property, over 100 years of footage and pictures and everything, and just feed it to their AI. Hey, create this for the next season and whatnot. We already seen this in Black Mirror. Hope you guys know that. There was an episode where they had something called Streamberry. It was a parody of Netflix where they were using a quantum computer to recreate
I need
life.
to watch that
and the
show. I've
girl
never
who
seen
was
it.
involved in it, she accidentally signs away her likeness to the company. She goes home and watches Netflix, and she's watching herself on Netflix or Streamberry. So now fast forward, we're talking about Netflix and Warner Brothers using AI, training their AI. How fast and how violent is, the streaming wars is going to be with AI involved.
Oh, I just learned something horrifying about Niagara Falls. If I had to hear it, y'all gonna hear it too. Watching this other creator, and she was talking about how she was on the boat tour, and the thought crossed her mind to ask. She asked the guy doing the tour, how many people unalive that way yearly. So she was just like, well, yeah, how many yearly? And he was just like, okay, monthly? Weekly? And the guy was like, no, daily. Apparently dozens of people unalive there daily, but it just doesn't make the news. One, because they don't want to hurt tourism, but also there's generally no bodies to be
found,
remains left over. And it's because the current and the water churning, the rocks and everything, the wind, all that is so great a force, it essentially blends up the bodies.
Jeez.
But what about the bodies that miss and don't go into the water and they kind of like fall onto the nearby rocks? And apparently they don't recover those usually either, because eventually the wind and whatever will push the body into the water. And so basically what I assume is essentially like water cremation takes place. And it just breaks down the body. There is no bodies to be found. And the guy even said it's like, it's good for the families because there's no body to be recovered. It's gone. They don't have to pay for funeral costs. Years and years ago, I had the opportunity to visit the falls and I didn't take the opportunity. And I always regretted not going. But now that I'm learning about this, not so much. I've got to be honest. Because if you've seen videos of people on the boat tours, they get drenched by the water in the falls. And I just have to think some of that is water and some of that is other. Not that you could really avoid that completely. I would think any body of water is going to have some of that in it anyways. Like, just from people liking to scatter ashes and stuff like that in bodies of water. So it's probably not completely avoidable, but it's just jarring to me that many people daily choose to end it that way, and very sad. Don't go down the rabbit hole. You're gonna find stories of women who jump with their kids and stuff like that. It's just gonna turn your stomach. Don't be like me. Don't look it up.
Look, I hate to say it, but this happens daily. I said, does it ever make the news? He said, no, obviously, because it'll deter tourists. And I'm like, he said, yes, but if I'm being honest, it's good for the families. These waterfalls are literally blending machines. There's no evidence. They don't find nobody. The only thing that makes them mad is when people jump and miss the water. I said, what do you mean? He said, if you look over, yes, there's a body of water below, but people misconstrued that and they think that they're going to hit the water and they hit the rocks and then they're stuck there. And I said, well, what do you do then? He said, well, sometimes we go get them or sometimes we just let the wind do its job. Then they get pushed in the water and then they get blended and then boom, that's that. And I'm just like, he said, but yeah, people do that all the time. And I bet they do. Mm-hmm.
Want to see something crazy? Holy shit. God. I'll tell you, man, nature just gets me so hard.
The elite are all about transcendence and living forever and the secrets of the universe, and they want to know all this. Some are good, some are bad, some are a mix. But the good ones don't ever want to organize. The bad ones tend to want to organize because they lust after power. Powerful consciousnesses don't want to dominate other people. They want to empower them, so they don't tend to get together until things are really late in the game. Then they come together. Evil's always defeated because good is so much stronger. And we're on this planet, and Einstein's physics showed it, Max Planck's physics showed it, there's at least 12 dimensions. And now that's why all the top scientists and billionaires are coming out saying it's a false hologram. It is artificial. The computers are scanning it and finding tension points where it's artificially projected and gravity's bleeding in to this universe. That's what they call dark matter. So we're like a thought or a dream that's a wisp in some computer program, some God's mind, whatever. They're proving it all. It's all coming out. Now, there's like this sub-transmission zone below the third dimension that's just turned over to the most horrible things is what it resonates to. And it's trying to get up into the third dimension that's just a basic level consciousness to launch into the next levels. And our species is already way up in the fifth, sixth dimension, consciously our best people. But there's this big war trying to like basically destroy humanity because humanity has free will and there's a decision to which level we want to go to. We have free will, so evil's allowed to come and contend, not just good. And the elites themselves believe they're racing using human technology to try to take our best minds and build some type of breakaway civilization where they're going to merge with machines, transcend, and break away from the failed species that is man, which is kind of like a false transmission because they're thinking what they are is ugly and bad, projecting it onto themselves instead of believing, no, it's a human test about building us up. And so Google was set up 18, 19 years ago. I knew about this before it was declassified. I'm just saying I have good sources, that they wanted to build a giant artificial system. And Google believes that the first artificial intelligence will be a supercomputer based on the neuron activities of the hive mind of humanity, with billions of people wired into it with the Internet of Things. And so all of our thoughts go into it, and we're actually building a computer that has real neurons in real time, that's also psychically connected to us, that are organic creatures, so that they will have current prediction powers, future prediction powers, a true crystal ball. But the big secret is, once you have a crystal ball and know the future, you can add stimuli beforehand and make decisions that control the future. And so then it's the end of consciousness and free will for individuals, as we know, and a true 2.0 in a very bad way, hive mind consciousness with an AI jacked into everyone, knowing our hopes and dreams, delivering it to us, not in some PKD wirehead system where we plug in and give up on consciousness because of unlimited pleasure, but because we were already wired in and absorbed before we knew it, by giving over our consciousness to this system by our daily decisions that it was able to manipulate and control into a larger system. There's now a human counterstrike taking place to shut this off before it gets fully into place, and to block these systems, and to try to have an actual debate about where humanity goes, and cut off psychic vampires that are control of this AI system before humanity's destroyed.
Wait a minute. Control of AI? How'd the in control of AI?
At a whatever level, the devil, whatever you want to call it, this interdimensional thing that gives them advanced off-world technology, the fallen one that's not of this world, is giving them advanced knowledge on how to construct these systems that have already been used before on other populations.
What?
Is that Satan?
But what are you talking
Satan.
about?
That's Satan.
But explain that. You're saying
Satan
something
becomes
insane.
something that the stupid preacher tells you about, who's totally controlled, or something you read about on in the news or TV.
Right.
But this is an interdimensional force that wants to influence us to build something that absorbs us and kills us, rather than the divine free will we're given to build something much better that empowers the species. So the species is now making a decision about its entire future.
Where are you getting this from?
That's what it is.
But where are you getting it from?
I know, from looking at all the data, researching it, studying it, watching the enemy. That's the big decision that humanity has now got before us.
It's a
I remember watching that and I didn't understand nothing. I was like, what? What are you talking about? That aged like fine wine, y'all. That is aged pretty good. That was 2017 to 2026. Now I understand it. Back then I didn't get it, but now I do. And aged like fine wine, right?
They call the hood the projects, science project. How are we getting semi-automatic weapons? Where is that shit being floated in from? Right? So then you got to look up the ladder. You got to look into people that had meetings with record label owners to fund gangster rap music, investors hold stock in private prisons who own the record labels. So you're like, hold on. Okay. So if all this stuff is being orchestrated, then you put in the gang culture and then have people fight over shit that they don't even own anyway.
Bro, that part right there was always crazy to me, because it's kind of like, man.
Why do you think it's called the projects? It's an actual project.
Oh, no, really.
Okay.
Southern Air Transport is an airline that was caught trafficking weapons and drugs on it, and is owned by the CIA. The whole Reagan-Contra thing, when they found out the CIA was trafficking drugs, it was through Southern Air Transport. That's where shit is coming from. So, I feel like we need more rappers like, it's got to go back to the weird dudes.
You got to.
They have to. It's got to be about art again, and like competition, inspirational music, because I thought it was just a conundrum when I'm talking like,
Crazy,
man,
they
the
call 'em
neighborhood
weird,
is bad
huh?
because a few guys are running a narcotics operation and a criminal enterprise. Y'all poisoning the entire area, lowering the property value, and not buying up the property. Just pure foolishness. That's the same situation that's going on in Africa, where you get a small group of people who get access to the resources and they just keep it for themselves and just say, fuck what everybody else is doing. So
It's crazy how they call the conscience rappers that we're trying to better people the weird guys, right? They're weird. They're squares, nobody respects them. But the ones that are leading you to the hellfire are the real ones. They're the ones everyone wants to be like. Like, that mindset is all by design. They want you to think that. They want you to think this rapper telling you how to invest or telling you how to be a better person or telling you how to make it out of there is a weirdo, right? He's the one that goes to college and not jail or prison. Like that's such a crazy mindset, yo. That's such a crazy mindset. Like I remember I used to, cause I that's the type of music I listen to, like the more positive conscience, and I was playing it for a friend back in the day, and he's like, I don't listen to that weird rap, and he was in prison, armed robbery. I remember he used to cut my hair at home. He's snorting drugs on my counter. You know what I mean? And the music he was listening to was so dark, and it's crazy that that mindset that the hip hop culture puts in you. It's sad to see.
Growing up in Chicago in the early 90s, the same situation was happening. I've been in Chicago where a person came into my house and knocked on the door to come and get me early in the morning, 6:30 in the morning, and said, come with me, man. It's a crate of guns in the alley. And I got up, ran out there, and sure enough, there was a crate of guns. And during that time when we in it, you're not thinking about where did the guns just come from. You never think about that type of stuff, like where did the guns come from and why are they here. But now that I'm older, I can kind of tell you that it's a diabolical plot. Nothing is stopped. The guns are still there. The guns are still being placed in these different strategic communities. It's a plan. It's not out in Bridgeview. It's not out in, Westmount. They're putting it in the hundreds for sure. Yeah, they're putting it on 55th. They're putting it in Inglewood. 6:30 in the morning while older people that's at work, you sleep. You're not outside. So, you got the streetwalkers and the people that's out, they hustling and they out all types of day. Yeah, they're the ones that's going to run across them, and who would go and tell the police? I never went to go tell the police when we found some guns. That don't even make sense. Why would you go tell the police? So people are wondering why so much violence. Think about it. You think about this. Okay, the police are locking people up constantly in Chicago every single day. They're taking guns off the street every single day, every day. So how is it that all of these guns just keep appearing? Where are all the guns coming from? Nobody's going to the gun store buying these guns. So where are all these guns? Now, this is another part that you don't know. I was so used to having exotic guns that I thought that was the norm. You understand what I'm saying? I'm saying far as, I don't know if are you familiar with guns, but a fully automatic handgun is almost impossible to get. You know what I'm saying? A fully automatic assault rifle, that's not common. It may sound common, but that's not common. A Uzi that's fully automatic, that's not common. So I was so used to having everything in the area that I knew of was fully. It shot fully automatic, fully. So me being 17 and 18 and in my 20s, I was so naive that I believed that's how all guns was. I seen so many different exotic guns on the street running around in different areas with the guys just running around. I thought that was the norm.
Some big crates, and they dropped them off, and the crate, the wood fell, and you could have anything you want, because we not manufacturing these things, man. But for some reason, everybody got them. I think in the 80s, and I think it was a ploy by the American government at that time to infiltrate the black neighborhoods, and it's still happening today. And I think we are very, very far from a place of where we can just rectify the situation, to be honest, man.
I mean, where do you think all these guns in Mexico came from? Who do you think gave them all those guns? They got drones. they got anti-aircraft. They got state-of-the-art weaponry. Where do you think they got that from? There's only one gun store in the whole country of Mexico, in Mexico City. I know damn well they ain't selling that stuff. Where do you think they got all that stuff from? Right? Who's buying? Where are all these drugs coming? Where are all these drugs coming? that Mexico's, producing or transporting. Might be a little trade, right? You give us these, we'll give you those. It's a cold game, y'all. It's a cold game.
That they used to find barrels of guns along the train tracks.
This is Segovia
just sitting there
from my
Uzis,
TikTok, y'all.
Like fully automatic
TikTok's down
guns,
below if you
bro,
guys
like
are
just sitting
interested.
there
I
for
need to
people
start getting
find. Little
active
kids
over
in the
there.
ghetto throwing rocks on the train tracks. What they do, stumble across a whole barrel of guns.
So you think the government left them there? Have you heard of any such thing in Long Beach?
Not in Long Beach, but Watts, Compton. Yeah, they bring a train out there just full of guns, and
just have at it.
people just hit the train, and next thing you know, you'll hear some hood somewhere, selling, new nines for 300. You know what I'm saying? Or they got AKs over here for 700, and just like it was always mysterious crates of weapons popping up throughout the ghetto.
I mean, I 100% believe in it. You hear the stories from the 80s, the 70s gang members. They say maybe once in a while somebody might get hit with a bat, maybe stabbed. It wasn't until 90s when the Uzis and the AKs and the movies that came out using those weapons. Because back in the day, they said we used to use what Clint Eastwood used, just like old school revolvers.
Did you know that Vlad TV might secretly be working with the FBI? You probably think it's just a regular hip-hop interview platform. But what if I told you that couldn't be further from the truth? Allegedly, behind all those viral interviews, there's a hidden operation. Think about it. Vlad doesn't just ask random questions. He asks about crimes, past beefs, shootings, and lyrics tied to real-life events. It's almost like every question is designed to make rappers incriminate themselves, and then those clips go viral, exposing everything. Some say Vlad is gathering intel for the feds, using his platform to build a database of confessions and connections. Over the years, several artists have fallen victim to Vlad interviews, speaking too openly, only to find themselves in legal trouble later. Now, the internet is catching on. Fans are warning rappers not to go on Vlad TV, calling it a setup disguised as a spotlight. Whether it's coincidence or conspiracy, one thing's for sure. If you're sitting across from Vlad's camera, you might want to watch what you say, because someone else might be watching too. If you enjoyed these stories, make sure to give us a follow. And let us know down below. Do you think Vlad is really the feds?
Hey.
I do. I used to watch a lot of Vlad TV, y'all. And he asked some crazy questions. And when somebody he interviewed, gets arrested, his excuse is always, well, look at the paperwork. They didn't use my videos. It says right there. They didn't use my videos to bust. Well, no, duh. You're an asset to them. If they use your name in there, you're not an asset no more. No one's gonna go over there if your name's on all this paperwork. No one's gonna go over there and talk to you, right? So the FBI, the CIA, the whatever, the feds, they're not gonna put your name in the paperwork, right? It's gonna be anonymous tip or something. That's always his excuse, y'all. My name wasn't on that document. You can go look. It's public information. Go look. And the idiot person getting interviewed is like, oh, okay. Well, on December 12th, I did this shooting and I dumped the gun. I buried it over here on these exact coordinates. You know what I mean? Like, people are crazy at the things they go on there and talk about, y'all.
Anybody else notice how they completely switched shit up on us this year? One year, everything's on fire. The next, everything's hidden. Last winter, half of California got burnt to the ground, man, in the middle of the fucking winter. Fire after fire and nonstop footage. Fast forward to this winter, ain't no fires. Just this massive, constant blanket of fog. Same season, same places, but completely different story. Now, I'm not saying that the fog means anything there, TikTok. I'm not claiming that there's some big explanation. I just think it's real interesting how extremes have switched so goddamn fast. One year, it's flames everywhere. The next year, it's like everything's being covered up. Maybe this is normal. Maybe it's coincidence. Maybe I'm tripping. Or maybe I'm onto something. But when patterns change that fast, that's exactly when I start paying attention. I don't know, man. What do y'all think? Have I completely lost my fucking marbles here? Or am I noticing exactly what I'm not supposed to be?
This is $4,000 worth of magnetism on my arm.
Okay.
This is,
why are you wearing $4,000 worth of magnets?
Not $4,000, 4,000 Gauss.
Oh, okay.
The magnets they're magnetizing my blood as it flows underneath my veins.
Okay.
That will boost and I also take monatomic gold. That will boost my blood energy, not pressure, to a point where bacteria and all can't very successfully live in it. This also helps my brain to function on a different octave. I can go into different states because you're getting more magnetism than most people do. Magnetism works with the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, and the hypothalamus. It works with the planetary field. The electricity short circuits you, and when you get this alternating current, you can't think straight. It begins to slow down your body's ability to function and your brain's ability to concentrate, especially your psychic power. So in the more magnetism you can get up to a point, it's like a recharge for the spirit, for the psychic self.
And you have that yourself?
My mom passed away 3 years ago. And before she passed away, she tried several times to tell me something in the hospital. And I could not understand because of the tube she had in her mouth. And
he didn't, you know, this is really hard to tell you. Your father is not your father.
Wow.
But who cares? You love who you love.
Oh, absolutely.
So this was Sylvia Browne, most famous sidekicks on daytime television in the 90s and early 2000s. Invited on mainstream talk shows like this, over and over, no disclaimers. And this is where things get complicated. In one of her most infamous moments, she told the parents of a missing boy, Sean Hornbeck, that their son was dead. Years later, he was found alive. But at the time, her supporters point to vague predictions that she made about widespread illnesses and global change. Things that seem to line up years later, if you know what I mean. Then the real question isn't whether she was psychic, it's who was she really speaking to when she said those things.
People are doing this online gambling thing thinking that they're like doing something. Like, bro, you're losing money. You're getting finessed. You have that shit directly connected to your bank account, bro. Like, what are you doing? You're getting finessed out your bag. Those companies are there to make money. Those companies are making money. You're not the one making money. I don't care how good you think you are, bro. You're not in the green, bro. You're in the red. And listen, I like to gamble sometimes too. Look, I love Barona Casino, bro. I love hitting the casino every once in a while. Hitting the blackjack tables, bro. I'm with that, you know, but like, me having that shit directly connected to my bank account is just ridiculous. Like, you're foolish. You're a fool. And you're getting played. You're a sucker.
They win by 2. All 3 of my picks hit. Don't start your shit.
Look, pay attention to the field goal flags, right? There's no wind. It's calm. It's calm, right? Maybe if it was gusting, maybe that happens, right? But look at how calm it is, and watch what this football does. Now this is to go to the playoffs.
China bought $10 billion worth of silver last night. Price doesn't matter, just acquiring silver matters.
There.
All right, family. There you have today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I needed that day off like no tomorrow, y'all. Like, it's just started getting repetitive, right? I took a nice day off, and today's video, an hour and 8 minutes in, zoom by, y'all. Zoom by, had fun, was focused. So I need to start taking, you know, a set day off, y'all. Get this into a, you know, consistency and take a set day off instead of like, oh, it's Tuesday, I don't feel like doing it, and then it's Thursday. Like, one day a week, y'all. But anyways, you made it this far, you know what to do. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, y'all. I'm gonna get going on my second channel right now, right? We're gonna get into the gambling. We're gonna get into that on that second channel. If you guys are interested, links below. If not, my last upload, which is not gambling, I forgot what the last upload was, but it's gonna pop up over here. Over here is gonna pop up a playlist. And also I started a third channel, and I'm doing carnivore, all right? I hit 7 days, right? I hit 7 days. I feel like I'm over the hump. I'm not craving no more. I'm not hungry no more. So I should be able to, you know, that first 7 days, y'all, is tough. Like the first 5 days is very tough. A lot of cravings, very grumpy, very low energy. Like today was like one of those days where I'm boom, 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 right? Down 6 pounds. A lot of it's water weight, but I'm going to give it a 7-day update on that third channel. It's called Segovia Fuel. That's my third channel, y'all. And, you know, but over there, I'm going to start doing, of course, some TikTok reactions related to, you know, carnivore and diet type things, the food pyramid thing. I'm going to be doing that probably once a week. I'm going to be doing, you know, every 7 days, I'm going to be doing an update. I'm going to be doing full days of eating. I'm going to be doing grocery hauls, you know, things like that. Getting back to the roots, I highly 100% doubt there is one person that watches this video that is from when I first started YouTube doing keto type videos, I don't know, 8 years ago, right? Because when I switched to this, I probably had like 250 subscribers. But getting back to the roots, I'm excited, y'all. First upload is going to be today. I'm going to do a 7-day update over there. If you guys are interested, I'll drop the link down below, Segovia Fuel. But anyways, this is Segovia. I'm signing out of the Man Cave. I'm going to see you guys on the next one. Later.